Good afternoon folks, who's to John. So today I'm doing the brake pads. So here we are with the Fiat Punto, and as you can see I'm now reassembling the pads on this side. So I've got the caliper up, there's a pin goes through there which holds the caliper down when it's down. Now I just need to push the piston back in a bit more in order to get the new pads in. It's quite a lot more thickness, as you will realise, than there was on the old pads, but to be fair, the old pads here weren't too thin. There's still quite a bit of meat on those bones, isn't there? But the warning light is actually on. The warning light cable is on this side, must be on this side because it's not on the other side. So the warning light was on, so it'll be interesting to see how thin these pads are when I get them out. We'll come back to this side obviously when I've got the other side finished, and I'll show you a bit more about how it comes to bits. It's quite easy actually. I did this side just before lunch, and then I kind of sat in on the sofa for a bit after lunch, but thought I'd better get back to it because it'll get dark in a couple of hours, but hopefully this will not take long. So I'll crack on, and when I'm doing the other side I'll show you how it comes apart and goes back together a bit better. So I've had my lunch, I've had a break from the brakes, and now I better gnash on. Might set the camera down a bit and show you a bit about putting this side back together actually as I'm doing it. In fact, there is something that I need to do right now. I'll just pause for a sec. So for squeezing the caliper in, there's a bit too much brake fluid in the reservoir now. Recently I changed the clutch master cylinder. There's another story about that, but that's not for today. That's a different video anyway. But I've had to wash out this. I'm going to have to try and suck a bit of fluid out. I don't really want it dribbling out and all over everything. Obviously the brake fluid, when it gets too high when I'm squeezing the piston in, so let's make sure that's properly, you can't get any wetness in that reservoir. Right, that's dry. So this is a bit of a slow process. I should have had a syringe actually. If you've got a syringe it'll make it easier to do this. Of course I don't want to get any bubbles in there either, so make sure I've got all the air out and I'm sucking the fluid in. Slow process this because it's very tiny amounts of fluid. Very slow process. Right, well you don't want to be watching this for ages, do you? Maybe try that, see how we get on. Just give you a look, see how full that still is. But to be fair, I've not got loads out, but it's going to be necessary to do that again in a bit, I would think. Now, just need my gloves. Hope that's in shot. Took it off the wide view, just thought it'd be too wide. If I had a GoPro 9 I would have been able to see obviously from the front, but as you can see I'm going to need a bit more room. It's going to need to go in about 4 to 5 mils, so and you maybe want to do this not too fast folks, because you don't want to create bubbles in the system. Well, I mean, it won't be surprising, will it, to think that it's going to have to go right in with new pads. Still okay in the fluid reservoir. Getting approaching maximum. We're nearly there. Now you might think it would be better, and it would be better with a, it's going in evenly, but you've got to watch when you're pressing it on one side. A sort of disc or something would have been useful. In fact, maybe an old pad, I suppose I should have used. You don't want to get your thing jacked. Ah, there we go. Still a little tight. So yeah, just make sure the cylinder's going in evenly when you're pushing it in. Right. Oh. Make sure the pads are seated properly. And they are. What is that one? Oh. Oh. Oh, my old knees. Oh. Let's give this a bit clean out, actually make sure that there isn't any detritus left in there. No, I don't have any copper grease, but copper grease would have been a good idea. It's nice and clean. this one. That one's a bit stiff actually. There you go, that's better, isn't it? So now all that remains is for this piece of the process. Just bear with me. Use the pin. Okay. Tight. Two sticker at the end for the sealing, you see. Quite tight, mind. Pads are out again. It. Right, let's knock this fucker in. make sure you get it as well, so you can get the little cotter pin thing in. So you need the hole that way. Job's a good one. So now we just need the cotter pin in there. Okay. Very simple. Put it the other way around actually. Right, that's it. Right, it's fine. And then what I guess is an anti-squeal shim. Watch this doesn't fly, obviously. Right, that's it. There we go. Now take up the slacken the brake pedal gently. Nearly full there, look. Is it's gone in. So it didn't move much, mine. If it has, but the pads are there. Yeah. You can just hear that they are just in there. So I'll not bore you with putting the wheel back on. I'll get back to you when I'm taking the other side off.
Big dog. Come here. Come here.
Hi folks, so I'm here with the offside on the Punto, changing the brake pads. It's Saturday, so there'll be some football going on, so there might be a bit of offside. elsewhere, but I'm going to stay here. Okay, let's begin. So this is a pin that holds in, well, that holds the caliper in there. Now just take these away for safekeeping. Go and find my hammer. Let me just drift this out. Let's take this one tight. That is tight, actually. Don't have a proper ball peen hammer, just a mash hammer, but use a ball peen, but a heavyish one. Now this is where it's sometimes useful to squeeze the caliper in slightly, sorry, the piston. Yeah. Right, this way, isn't it? Okay. A bit of that way, no, possibly. A bit fiddly. No. Might be enough. Yes. Okay. Well, it would be useful maybe to tie this up, but not going to bother. It's tight. Oh, it's really tight. might be useful to tie that up. So, these. Okay, pads are off. One still has a bit of wear on it. That one is really worn. We are really down to it there. Yeah, thinnest of the 4 pads. Is the counter sliding okay? It is. Okay. Right, so let's clean these grooves out. Well, the new calipers though, sorry, the new pads. I do have a wide brush, but it's a bit worn at the end, sadly. There may not be asbestos in it, but you don't really want to be breathing it. Right, let's get the new pads, see if they slide okay in there. What's that? Right. Now, got an advisory note on the MOT saying the pads were worn. That was 2 months ago, over 2 months. So I'm just doing them in time by the look of that. Yeah. Not quite metal on metal. But one thing I was curious about was, I mean, the warning light is on, so I thought I would get the pads with the indicator for the warning light. So the cable with them. But there's no cable on the other side, and there's no cable on this side. The end of the cable just goes in that little hole, look, there. There's nowhere to put the bloody cable. So that's a little puzzling. Makes me wonder if the warning light's on for a different reason. I'll look into that, see what happens when I put it back together. So let's just try these, see if they're sliding okay in the grooves. I've cleaned the grooves enough. I mean, they're going to be a tightish fit anyway. A bit tight. because there's dust settling as we reckon in the grooves. Do the top ones again first. It's an idea to wear goggles as well, folks. Oh, my old back. Oh, my old back. Oh, I'm very uncomfortable here. I should have a wider bit of wood to sit on. Oh, it's maybe slightly better sitting down. So if you put it the right way around, isn't it? Slide it in better. If it's the right way around now, we have to squeeze the caliper in. Sorry, the piston. So it'll go over the new pads, which are obviously much thicker. Okay, I'll just pause for a bit. I did show you earlier soaking some fluid out of the reservoir, and I'm going to have to do that again, I think. I'll just squeeze it in a little bit, see where we get to. It's well out, this one, because they're worn on this side. Well, the one especially is worn, so we will need to soak some fluid out of the reservoir. Let it overspill. I don't really want it to do that. No, I just went round the edges on the other side, but it's good practice to do this, I think. Get sort of into the middle of the piston. Right, and it's going in. Do it slowly. Don't want to disturb the fluid too quickly, or you might get possibly air bubbles. And this can be a time when, if there's any rust or anything in the piston, when that can get to be a problem. I think I once had one, put new pads in, and then yeah, the piston seal wasn't good, probably because of rust or something, because you're squeezing obviously the piston back in. So try and do it as gently and slowly as possible. Check the fluid level, which is now actually right at the top. So I'm going to soak some fluid out with this. I'll pause for a minute because it'll take a minute to do this, very small amounts. Right, so we're down to that level now. The bottle is full, almost. Pleased I have done this, otherwise it would have gone all over the fan belt or the alternator belt as such. And I did spill a drop on there, so I've had to wipe it off. Try that. Flipping heck. Oh dear. Still a little tight, so don't need much more though. Very little, for fuck's sake. Should do it. Felt a little bit of resistance there. I hope the I'll put the cap back on now. It's not overflowed, but it's near the top. Right, this is about to go on now. Yeah. Well, I'm going to sit down again because of my old knees. Fucking twat. Still fucking not quite there. Bloody nada, right? It's almost fully in that piston. Sick. Right. Twat. Oh dear. I think we're right in now. Fucking well in. Okay, it's getting dark, let's crack on. Got to go on now. You don't have your choice. There you go. See, it's quite neat fit, that, isn't it? Right, let's reassemble. Okay, what do I need? My little pin. I'll leave the clip till I've got the pin in, no doubt it'll get lost. So, I mean, it's a good idea using the gloves with the wire brush and stuff like that. But if I wasn't switching the camera on and off, I might have kept them off part of the wire. I would have got the pads in easier and stuff. Right, starting to rain. As it would. It's a jet, not a spray. Okay. Right, it's fine, we've got to probably need a knock, a proper knock. Oh, fucker. Oh, I'll get the little pin. straight that way around, and gravity will keep it, help to keep it in. Don't lose it, whatever you do, man. Sick. Straight with the fingers then. There we go. Is that it? Fucking is it? Yeah, that must be it, is it? Yeah. I think it would be better the other way around. Shouldn't really matter which way. It's not going to come out, is it? It's in. Whichever way around you put it, it's in. That'll do. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Right. So I'll just take a slack up on the brakes. My fucking gloves. I'm going to put the clip back in. I don't know what I believe it's probably an anti-squeal shim. Just be careful this doesn't go flying with your forks when you're putting it back in or taking it out. Now, I'm not sure. See what I mean? Just be careful. I think it's meant to go in that way. Just take quite a bit of pushing in. So just be careful. Oh, my old hips. Ow. Right, I'm going to push it from here, but just watch your eyes. Oh, it's partly in. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, fucking twat. Little bastard. Right, that's it. The little twat's in. Okay, I'll take the slack up now. Slowly. Before I do, it's in gear, but there's not much slack to take up in this one. We're all done. Are we? Yes, be stiff. Right. Best when it's stiff, and then you know the fluid's back. You just check the fluid level. I'm sure it's going to be fine, and it is. It's absolutely fine. So let's get this bottle out of there, and then I'm done under the bonnet. Now we just need the wheel back on. Could let the jack down a bit because it's on the axle stands, but I'll in fact I will get it off the axle stand first. Oh no, let's just put the wheel on. But it won't go on with this here, so right, it's fucking right, weird. Oh. Oh yeah, fucker, yeah. Ow, fucking lumbago. It's not the hardest fucking bit. Getting there. There's the fucker lined up right. Oh, yeah. You can't. Oh. Fucking bastard. Let it down a little. Fucking miles. Right. Oh, it'd be easier if it was studs instead of bolts. fucking bastard. Right. I think we're there. Are we? Right. Ooh. As it's getting dark, can't quite see which way it needs to go. Is that it? Yes. Fucking hallelujah. Sorry. I think that's it. Don't put your foot under the car till you've got the wheel on properly. It's a jack force. Put the other two in so we get it on the deck. Fucking twat. What's that noise? I want to get done as quickly as possible because there's no light in the boot. Wasn't fitted with one, and so I want to get the jack and everything back. Where it clips in on top of the spare wheel before it's dark. I do have a torch, but you don't want to be fighting on in the dark. Well, I can't, which is 17, that one. I don't know if you can see my nose running forward, but it is. That's it, dudes. Almost. Finished. Yeah, well, still watching. Thanks for watching. And I'll report back to see if it's well, they'll need to bed in slightly, won't they? So I'll report back on how that's going. Oof. Not getting any younger, am I? So yeah, just to say what this was, Punto 54 plate, 1.28 valve, and like I said, I got the kit with the warning light cable, but I just can't find where the fucking warning light cable goes, so it obviously isn't fitted. Wasn't on that side. Wasn't on that side. Wasn't on the near side, and it wasn't on the off side. So I'm a little puzzled because the light is on. It was on. See what happens when I get going. Right, let's get this stuff back in the boot. Bye for now, folks. The dog shit there. I managed not to stand in it. It looks like it has been stood in, but before it rained, because there's no actual footprint in the dog shit. So it would have been nice if the dog owner had scooped that up when the dog did it, but never mind. I've managed. It's not a problem.